Good morning and welcome back. Apologies about the little gremlins in the system. We're hoping that they've gone. If not, then hopefully they're very, very minimal. But yeah, the team are working. We've just seen them running back and forwards a moment ago, trying to rectify that. So as I say, hopefully that has been rectified and we can carry on with what is our Colour Me Happy. It's Crafters TV, of course, and it's our brand new launch of Flora and Fauna. This is our Colour Me Happy. Now, our launch day is, well, I say launch, it's Colour Me Happy, but it is kind of like a launch day, whereas you're going to be getting 45 elements in total. At today's price is $33.99 or $44.95. Platinum, really good price as well, at $27.19 or $35.96. What I would say is, if you happen to just be joining us now, we'll carry on with Leann into our brand new Academy of Colour, Flora and Fauna, and then afterwards you can always dot back to that first half an hour before we had to take that little bit of a break where Leann went into our launch in a bit more detail. So as we were talking about before, and in actual fact, I tell you, let's just have a look at the comments. I'm conscious that we've not had a quick look as of yet. So we're saying at the start, we do have Chloe on the comments within Colour Me Happy. We've got Suzanne is saying hello crafty peeps everywhere. Claudia, we've got Leah, we've got Betsy, Rachel, we've also got Anne-Marie. Diane is saying you're all such great colourists. Bless you, thank you. Hopefully I can achieve some degree of good colouring. I can tell you with the Academy of Colour, we'll get it one way or the other. Get the teeth in. You absolutely will do it. It's all about that education that we will continue to go through within this show. Betsy saying, I'm so excited to learn from Leann and how she colours flowers, as this is what I colour the most. That's good to know, because sometimes you prefer to colour flowers, maybe you prefer to colour foliage, maybe it's the hair, it's the skin. Many different types, many people love to colour and focus on. Some just love colouring, full stop. Jeffrey saying, love the pens that have been included in the kits. They have been so well designed and easy to use. Well, that's where we're lucky, whereas we've actually, first time we've had Leann on a Sunday, and well, I've kind of just said it as well. Leann's here on a Sunday. We've gone over what you're going to be getting in the Flora and Fauna, but I think it's nice to see how we're going to be using the items you get in the box, Leann.
Oh, absolutely it is, Craig. Yes, sorry, I'm just having a look at all of my markers to make sure I've got the right pen in my hand for you. I think it's great to see some of the techniques. I'm not going to be able to show you it in depth because we've got lots of backwards and forwards, but remember, everything I show you is just an indication of what you're going to learn when you buy the Flora and Fauna and then get access to that full education session that's already waiting for you there. So one of the things we learned in one of the first classes was how to add real depth and dimension when you've got limited colours available, like you can see on this red coloured image here. And that is using our dark grey colours to give you that depth. Now I'm just going to show you by bringing that in ever so slightly at the top. I'm going to turn, let's see, stick it down here like this so you can see it. There you go. So you can see what I'm doing is showing you in the step-by-steps where to add the grey and then where to put the red over the top of it. So once you've watched the class, you can literally just follow that along, either with the step-by-steps as you've got here or with the video tutorial. But as an example, here I've got a dark grey marker. Now this dark grey marker is from the first box, because this is building on a technique that we learned in the first box, but we're using it with our Flora and Fauna. And that is one of the things that I think is key to this education process, is you're constantly building on what you've already learned and then maximising it as we go along. So I'll just do a couple of little pieces here and there because you want to see lots of techniques. I won't do a full image for you because that could end up being a little bit boring. I want to give you a taste of lots of different things that we're going to be doing. But you can see all I'm doing is using my greys, blending that out, using the markers that came in the first box. Yeah. Blending that out, and then what I will do is I'm going to use one of the coral colours that comes in your Flora and Fauna box. It's a little bit different to this. This was done with a red marker in the original box. I'm going to use the markers that come in your box, which are the corals. And I've got CR11 and CR10 here. And then you literally just wipe over the top, and you can see I've preserved my highlight. You hear me talk about that all the time. Then all I do is take my darkest and swipe that over, and then my lightest on the other side, swipe that over, and I've got a very dimensional petal right in front of your eyes. It's really easy to do, Craig, and I think once you learn how to use these darker colours underneath your colouring to give you that shade and depth and dimension, you're going to wonder why you've never done it before, because that really does make it pop for you. Now what I like to do is just colour one of the petals beside, only using those two colours without the grey underlay, just to show you what that would look like. And while it's lovely, it doesn't have the impact of that and that. And that's just having that grey underlay, and that's a really easy technique that you will learn as part of that first journey, and that you will extend and expand on in this Flora and Fauna.
Absolutely.
So that's how easy it is to achieve something which looks as dimensional as this by simply using a grey underlay. It could be a dark purple, it could be a really dark green. You can use other colours. The greys I find are the most easiest for you to use. So that's how we do it when we're using grey. You can then take what you've learned there and move on to using different colours. So you can mix brand new colours that don't exist. And it's exactly the same technique that you've just seen me use, just with some different colours. So if I bring this in for you to see, you can see what I've got here is yellow and turquoise. And then I've got over the top of that, oh, can I just also explain to you something else that you get?
Please do.
You get my hand-scribbled notes. I
Really?
photograph them and I put them all up on the website for you. And that has a list of all of the colours and how I've done it. And do you know what I thought? On one of the first education sessions, I thought, I'm just going to show everybody what I'm referring back to all the time, because I think you must think, everybody, that I can remember everything, and I can't. So I write notes for myself all the time, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to share the notes, and if you find them useful, they're there for you, and if you don't want to refer to them, you don't have to. So many of you said, never stop doing the notes.
And
we really need them.
Say as well, with something like that, Leann, you know, all very well that, you know, we could type these up and post them. This is more personal with you. This is your little notes you've written for yourself that others can follow as well. So it's more that one-to-one closeness with you within the Academy of Colour.
Absolutely, Craig, absolutely. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just show you how that then works using different colours. So example for you here is I've got from the Flora and Fauna collection my gold and yellow ochre. I've got my Caribbean and duck egg, and I've got my fuchsia and, I haven't got my glasses on, frost pink. MG1 and MG3, AB1 and AB3, GY3 and GY5. So exactly the same as we did with the grey, but different colours, Craig.
Right.
Just turn that round so we can see it. And I'll do exactly as we did before. So I've got my yellow here. So I'm using yellow now instead of grey.
Okay.
And I'm just putting my underlay on. There. Let that dry. And then on one of the leaves, let's do this one, I'm going to do my turquoise. And this is just where the shade would be. And I'm shading that out and preserving my highlight in small areas. Okay. So once I've done that, and I've got my base layer, which is exactly as I did with the grey for the red. Now I can go in with pink. So I want a peach petal, not a pink petal. So directly on the paper, by going over the top and layering pink on top of yellow, what I do now is blend a new colour of peach underneath. And if I want to take away a little bit of that pink there, I just lay yellow over the top and I've got that beautiful peach colour. I do the same with the turquoise, but this time I take my yellow over the turquoise, and what that will do is mix me a lovely leafy green. Now it depends on the colours that you use. So if you want to use some from the other box, you will get different colours.
Yes, you will.
So using blue turquoise, for example, gets in a CT1 gets you this much more vibrant yellow. Here I'm getting a much more mossy green when I mix these colours because they're a little bit different, but you can see how just by layering different colours over the top of each other, I'm able to mix brand new colours right there in front of your eyes. And if I just do another leaf here, petal for a flower, I beg your pardon, you'll be able to see the difference. Same pen, but hasn't got the yellow under. And how to do that in the box as well. So that's just moving on a step from the dark grey underlay and using different colours underneath. You will learn that. And of course, once you've put that whole thing together, you're creating beautiful things like this. Really easy to do. And then what I do is take you on to the watercolour version of that. So we'll move into that now. Have we got time for me to show you this one?
We have. And I think that's key to say as well. It's alcohol colouring and it's watercolouring that you are going to be learning from Leann. And these are little snippets, but remember, one-on-one with Leann that you can refer back to. And the good thing as well, because you can pause it and then you can go back a bit, can't you, Leann, and then pause it again or maybe go forward a bit, so you've got that full control as well. If you maybe didn't catch something, just jump back 10 seconds.
Group, Craig, there's a lady in there whose name escapes me. I'm so sorry. I've got that terrible thing where I've got just brain fog. Your name will come back to me soon and then I'll just shout it out during the next 2 hours. Fabulous lady in that Facebook group who goes through my education session when I've finished recording it and does a timestamp for everybody and uploads it into the group.
Wow.
So literally, if you want to learn how to do this watercolour flower, you'll go and look at her document and it'll tell you watercolour flower in pink using the flooding technique is 4 minutes 32.
Incredible.
So you know exactly where to go to. And I'm really grateful to her for doing that. It's fantastic. And I think it's just a helpful resource. I think also lets you see and understand how helpful everybody is in that group. They're all supporting each other on the journey and just giving each other hints and tips. So I'm going to use 2 of the aqua markers from Flora and Fauna, and I'm going to use my hot pink and Prussian blue. Oh no, I'm not. I don't want to use Prussian blue. Off you go. I'm going to get a different pen from a different set. I want a nice pinky. Here it is here. So I'm going to get a pen from my made box to go with instead, because I want this purple colour. You could use the blue on the other side if you want to. It's the technique that matters. Now what I've got here is, hoping you can see, is a image stamped and heat embossed in white. Can you see that there? So what we're going to do is paint this to look like this using those 2 colours and a really lovely technique. Okay, so first things first, I've got my palette. So you get this palette in your main box, and this is for you to scribble your markers on. I've just got it on top of a piece of white card so that you can see it. And then I've got my piece that I'm going to paint on alongside. So you don't have to have this piece of white paper underneath, that's just so you can see my palette.
Gotcha.
And then I'm going to scribble the colours that I need onto this palette. So I'm going to have that colour and this colour. And what you should be able to see from that as well, Craig, is that this is not sitting and resisting this palette. It's the perfect medium so that your colours stay flat and easy and accessible for you there. So I'm putting my colours on here. And then I want this one.
Jamie's actually just said in our ear, which was a really good point as well, you know, you're scribbling them on there. Those pens will go so far.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely they will. They will last you a good amount of time. And of course, we always caveat that with, it depends how much colouring you do.
Yes, absolutely.
But you're going to get a really good amount of use out of it. Now, I just want to show you, I've got a pot of clear water here. That's all it is. There's nothing else in there. I'm taking the brush that comes in the original box. You can use any detailed brush like this. And I'm just taking off some of the water. Then what I'm going to do is paint my petal in water only. And I flood that. Now, what happens is the water is held as a barrier in, I think I might have that upside down. Yes, I do. There we go. The water is held as a barrier inside the raised heat embossed lines. I'm going to have to get my glasses on. That's better. Raised heat embossed lines and stays in there. So it acts like little wells, if you like, Craig. Then what we do is dry our brush, take the water off, pick up some of the colour that you want to use. So I'm going to start with the lightest pink here. and then you just drop it in there. And you see it colours it for you. Wow. So it moves immediately and adds that colour and starts to flood it in. So you just take the colour, drop it against, pick it up from your palette, and it starts to add that colour in there for you. Really quickly and easily. Now I always start with the lightest, so you can see it flooding in there, and those lines are now becoming more obvious. Get your first lightest colour down where you want the light. And then what I do is dry my brush, take the water off, pick up a little bit of the dark,
okay,
and then just add in where I want, tiny bit of water if you need it, just add in where I want the shade by touching. And that will magically, and you see I'm not painting here, no. I'm just touching the colour to the flower. And what that does, the water underneath, capillary action, picks up the darker colour that we're putting in and mixes that for you right in front of your eyes, so you don't have to do anything. Now what you can do when you've got enough of that colour on there, if you think you've got enough, you can get your heat gun and dry it. Or the other thing you can do is, if you want to move it around a little bit but you don't want to add any more colour in per se, you can dry your brush and then just manipulate it.
Can you?
So we would dry the brush.
Okay.
So I've dried it completely there, you can see. Now all I would do is just decide where I want to push that. So I want a little bit more of the shade up there, I want a little bit more of it here, a little bit more there. So I'm just moving the colour in the little pools of water that I put down for it earlier. And as you build up each of the florals, as you go around in those little pools of water that you've put down, you will build that up into this.
Wow.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's like
and
magic.
Do you know what? So easy, Craig.
It really is, isn't it?
Yes, very, very easy to do. Now you would do it exactly the same with the leaves. You see with the dark green and the light green there, and you can see how I've gone around and done each one of those florals exactly as I've done it there. If you really want to intensify it and you want some more dark in, with your dry brush, tiny, 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 tiny little bit of water, with your dark, now I can go in and look. I can go and intensify that even more. So you're not adding lots and lots more water, but you are picking up and adding more colour. And so easy to do because we're just touching it in. It's that priming of the card, putting the water on first onto that base layer that gives you the ability to do this. And you see, by just intensifying that colour in the centre a little bit with my dry brush, it makes everything else pop.
It is, isn't it?
Okay, so you would do that for the central floral, and then you would dry that with your heat gun. I've lost my heat gun, we'll find one later. Then what I do to make the whole image pop, and we go through this on the education session, is paint your water around the outside. And this is called priming your card. Okay. And we talk all about priming our card in the education. But what we're doing is we're giving an indication to the colour, because we're wetting the card, of where we want it to go when we add it. So I've primed that all the way around there. And then we would take a blue. So if we take our blue, it doesn't have to be blue, it can be any colour you want, but that's just the colour I'm using. We then do exactly the same as we've done for the flower, but for around the image. And you see how it moves?
Wow.
By just touching it round. That's what gives it that lovely shadow and makes all of those images pop out. So you just touch it where you want it to be, where you've just put your water. And then if you want to spread that out, if you want to have that less intense, you get your wet brush, again, damp brush, and then just encourage it. Yeah. And that's just, anybody can pounce a brush on a damp brush on a piece of wet card,
and I was about to say that, you know, with all due respect to you, that Academy of Colour is your baby. You're dabbing.
Oh, yes, yes.
You're dabbing.
Yes, absolutely, Craig. Now, I take no offence at that, because the whole point of Academy of Colour is demystifying things that look flippin' complex.
Yes.
And making them accessible and easy for you all. So you can all achieve this, and you can achieve this within half an hour of opening your box and watching that education when you get home. This exact thing will look exactly like this. And I think that for me is the pure pleasure and joy of Academy of Colour. Absolutely. It really is, because we're demystifying everything, giving you the skills, giving you the theory, the how-to, giving you the colours to use and the wherewithal, and then handing over to you and just letting you get on with the fun of colouring, where you sit back and go, I did that, that's mine, oh my word, and you feel that pride and that expansion of your skills. It's just an absolute joy, Craig, it really is.
And it's one of those as well where you may be forgiven for thinking, you know, you absolutely love your alcohol colouring and your watercolouring, and you may feel, and you will be, you know, that you are, you know, incredible at that blending and that shading, that three-tone blend that you'll hear many of us talk about, Leann, as well. But then you might think, what can I do next? You know, is that all colouring involves? This is where your Academy of Colour can then take you far and beyond. So keep saying, I'm going to keep saying it's the education is one of the main parts of this, if not the main part, and you're getting your pens, your alcohol pens, your watercolour pens, you know, even the stamps and that, so you can then follow along with Leann. This one's coming with our brand new launch today, the Flora and Fauna, part of the Academy of Colour. Now within this one here, you're going to get 45 elements in total. So in today's price, it is $33.99 or $44.95. If you are platinum, however, that's going to come down even more to a fantastic £27.19 or $35.96. So you can then be colouring along, learning along with Leann at your heart's content, whether you're pausing, stopping, rewinding, it's entirely up to you. What I would say as well, you know, is if, you know, you've gone for the Flora and Fauna today, you've maybe not got any of the other ones, trust me, you're going to be so tempted to actually go back to the beginning. We've got the main box as well as our Portraits Academy of Colour for you to have a look at. What I'm going to do, because many have already checked them out, which we really appreciate, we really appreciate your company on this, well, going into the afternoon of this Sunday, which is, you know, of course, a difficult day for so many people, difficult day over the last few days as of such, and also quite an important day for you guys stateside as well. So what we're going to do, for those of you that do still have it in your basket, maybe you are wanting to have a look at the other Academy of Colours, we're going to give you a little bit of time to get that checked out. And while you do that, you know, if you've ever wondered what is it that makes Crafters TV so special and makes us love coming here every single day, have a wee look at this.
What makes Crafters TV so special is you guys.
It's really special because the experts are really experts. They're really skilled at what they do, and they want to make sure that the audience also improves on their skills.
Crafters TV is so special because you've got together a really sort of key group of people and people that are very passionate about the products.
Crafters TV is so special because it's a unique community that we have with each other, where we can learn and grow and communicate with each other.
Community, the family spirit, the education, everything to do with craft. We are all like-minded people who share a passion.
I love all the inspiration the demonstrators bring and all the knowledge for us out here.
What makes Crafters TV so special? 100% it's the interaction. No other crafting TV channel or show has the same interaction.
I love the community, I love chatting live, I think that's the best part, and it's gone beyond crafting because we've become friends.
It feels to me to be a really close relationship with our customers and viewers.
You guys make us feel like we're part of your family. I've never been on the show before, but one of my friends who I did meet from CCTV encouraged me, and I was on the craft along.
A massive team of people, and I think they've all got their role to play, and it just brings everything together. It allows us to do our job and just love it.
The people, obviously, the people not just here at Crafters Companion, but the viewers that watch us. I mean, everybody. We have this real magical essence about it.
Bye for now. Bye.
Welcome back. I'm feeling the pressure of burden a little bit. I feel like I like when other people tell me what I've got to do and I just deliver the message. The fact that I've got to make a choice now, I'm feeling it very keenly, I have to say. So, first things first, to announce the name of our winner of one of these fabulous prizes. Our winner is Anne Caggle, Anne E. Caggle. So congratulations, Anne. You're now going to get a gift from me. So let's manifest together, Anne. Try and send via the power of the waves what you would like. And let's see if I can hit on the right thing. And if that does happen, please call me Mystic Meg for the rest of the show. Okay, so, wow. I don't know what to choose. This is too much pressure and too much responsibility for a colouring guest on Colour Me Happy. I feel as if Anne, if you want to be in the comments to let me know what you fancy, if they can get the comment over to us quick. Yeah. I don't think that's strictly the rules, but you know what I'm like. I like to throw the rules out the window. So a Gemini Mini. I feel like Bruce Forsyth. A Gemini Mini. We've got two fantastic of our craft boxes there. My favourite is the stencil one, so that's the one I'd be picking for if it was a box. I feel like we need to go with something colouring because we're on Colour Me Happy, and we've got these fantastic discovery kits here. And then, of course, there's that voucher, isn't there? There's this voucher up here. Oh, my word. And there's the mystery bag. Anne, speak to me. Send the manifestation to me through the power of thought process, Anne. Let's divine. Do you know what I'm going to do? And I think you deserve to just choose what you want. I'm going to give you the £30 voucher. Let me know if we got it right, Anne. Let me know. I think for me, I'd want to just go and do a bit of shopping on a fabulous Sunday and maybe just cheer myself up a little bit because it has been sad, hasn't it? And who knows, you could use that to get yourself the Flora and Fauna. If you've been sitting on the fence, Anne, I think you're going to love that. So let me know what you decide to buy, but I've decided we're going to give Anne the £30 voucher.
Brilliant. Excellent, there we go. So what I need you to do, Anne, is if you can email prizes at crafterscompanion.com with your name and your address, and, well, we say address, although you've gone for the voucher. It's just habit that I say pop your address anyway, but just say that you won the voucher on Colour Me Happy on today's show, Sunday the 11th. Right, let's have another proper wee look at the comments here. Chloe's been sending them in. Leila is saying the sessions are so very detailed. Leanne lets you know what colour she is using and she explains it so well. The Facebook group is wonderful because you see the process made by others and yourself. That is such a lovely thing to say, Leanne. This is what obviously Leanne really wanted when it comes to not only the Academy of Colour, but when it comes to that Facebook group as well. Anne, who's just won that voucher, has said, great depth with only a few colours. This is going back to what Leanne showed you a moment ago. Cheryl is saying, learning to preserve the highlight was a game changer for me. And that's some things that to many might be a little thing, but the difference it makes is absolutely incredible. Alison is saying, I have been putting off buying the Academy of Colour, but I think I'm going to bite the bullet and get them all. That is, it's, you know, of course, you know, you can only go with your needs, of course. However, you know, if you do go for all of them, that's you got them. The main box we're going to go over just in a moment with the portraits and our brand new one, whereas you're then going to get everything. You've got everything at your fingertips there that you can dive straight into. Get on, scan that QR code that is going to take you straight there. Do what Leanne says, it's got that sticky dot on the back, so just pop that onto the inside of the lid and that'll enable you to know it's there all the time, just in case you misplaced the page or something. You can then go in and recapture the videos time and time again. We've got Suzanne is saying, my absolute favourite, watercolour. We've got Zoe is saying, this is some kind of magic. Betsy is saying, wow, that was stunning, Leanne. And we've got Anne-Marie saying, this is brilliant, learning something new every day. Key thing as well, take that snapshot of what Leanne's just showed you within this first half of the show, and then you can then go on to the Academy of Colour, watch her educational videos, which are all in depth, start to finish. She's there helping you, coaching you every step of the way. 2 questions before we crack on. We've got Minnie Minx is saying, Leanne, did you heat emboss that image in white? So I think she means white powder or clear powder.
Okay, you can do either. So if you've got a white pigment ink, you can do clear powder. If you've got a clear stamping ink like a watermark, white powder. What I did, and my preference, is a clear ink and a white powder. I think you get a crisper, whiter line and more of a visual impact when you do that. If you don't have that at home and you want to practice that technique and you have got a white pigment and a clear powder, you would still get the effect, just not the intense white line, and then you could decide if you like the technique before you invest in that white powder.
Perfect, that's great. Thank you for that, Leanne. And actually another question, this is from Cheryl, and going on the technique that Leanne just showed you a moment ago that we were referring to in that last question. Can you only do this with heat embossed, or will it work with a regular embossing folder?
I love that. It will work with a regular embossing folder. Now, sometimes with embossing folders, when you emboss, the whole flower's raised and just the outline is debossed, so it wouldn't work as easily. But if you emboss it and then flip it, it gives you the mirror image and you can do it that way. So yes, the quick and easy answer is, if you've got the correct type of embossing folder and you've got that image, yes, you can do that with the raised lines and the little wells that are left behind.
Brilliant, thank you so much for that, Leanne. I've got another comment here before we go on to our Academy of Colour, our main box here, because this is another good one from Sheila. And Sheila's saying, the education with the Academy of Colour makes the purchase so worthwhile. I am so happy to be able to see Leanne's demos this morning and have Craig back as well. That's lovely of you to say. Thank you so much. That sort of thing, Leanne, you must just beam with pride, you know, when you hear things like that.
You're absolutely right, Craig. I get all the warm fuzzies when I hear that. And, you know, I would say 90% of people who do purchase one of the boxes come back and say that the box was value for money. The box is exceptional value for money with everything that you get in there. The box is more than worth the content. However, what they're saying is the real value is that education that you're getting access to, that they feel that is the real game changer for them. And I just love that, because that was my intention. And for years I've wanted to just be able to sit and teach and talk. I could never get round the world and get round as many people as you would want to if you put me on a big purple bus and we went on a tour. So being able to do it in this way just lets me reach as many people as possible. And I'm eternally grateful to Crafters Companion for giving me the ability to be able to do that through this Academy of Colour.
Yeah. What's lovely as well, we're going to actually go into the main box as well, but you've not only thought about the tools that you're going to need, the products you're going to need, that learning, that education, it's the way it's presented as well. It's that luxurious, that black, something special. It's, you know, you'll have maybe noticed the paintbrush Leanne was using, it's black, it's that elegance. So it's Spectrum Noir, but what it is, it's separating it that slightly. That's like your special box. You've got that magnetic clip on the front. You've got that layers, as if, you know, when it comes to Christmas time, you've got those layers of chocolate. But this is something other than the consumables, the watercolour alcohol paper card. You look after them, they're going to last you a lifetime. And they're nice, they're held, they're packed all together, maybe on a bookshelf. Looks lovely on a bookshelf, maybe.
I completely agree, and you'll see when we look at that first box, Craig, it tells you that your journey starts here, and then each box afterwards is an exact same size, so they can all stack up, and it says your journey continues. And then the last box, I can tell you, because we've designed it, the last message on the box, it says, congratulations, you've completed the Academy of Colour.
Really?
So, you know, when you collect them all, you can see where you started, where you've been, and where you end. And the last box might have, dare I tell you? Should I give it? Do you know, it's not very often I'm here in Iceland, let me tell you. The last box might have a little certificate in, and it might have a little badge. I'm saying might, we know it does because I've just told you. But, you know, we'll use the word might, but it has. It has. Because you've been on a journey of discovery and you need something to be able to say, I did that and look how far I've come. It's really, really exciting, I think, Craig.
Oh, it really is. It really is. And certainly by the comments today, so many excited, that's for sure. Right, let's have a look where it started right at the beginning. And this is where it starts you off on that journey. That starts you off on that educational side of the Academy of Colour. Do you know what? I think actually, if you don't mind, Leah, I know you're really busy, you want to show everyone techniques and that. Do you want to join me?
Okay.
Start me right at the beginning. We've got Charlotte and we've got Jamie in the gallery today, and we've got Tracy, and that's it. Tracy very kindly came with our cup of tea, didn't she?
Cheers, Craig.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, mate. So lovely to have you back.
Thank you. It's so good to be back. It's lovely to, you know, as we touched upon,
Yeah.
such a sad period over the last few
Yeah.
days. It's lovely to be back with you. I don't get to be on with you very often.
No, we
and can
don't.
I just say as well, I just heard in my ear, Charlotte went, and me too. I did mention you, Charlotte. I did.
Oh, and Minnie.
And Minnie.
We've got Minnie too. I mean, before the end of the show, I'll pick her up and we'll introduce her. We've got my little Minnie with us today,
Yes.
haven't we?
do.
She's now the office dog.
Yeah.
So we had a sad event on Friday and we lost one of my little girls. Those of you who followed her for a long time will know that I've got Minnie and Tink. So Tink sadly had to leave us on Friday. She was very ill. And Minnie is having herself a few separation anxiety issues. So I've brought her with me today and she's keeping Tracy company.
She is.
She's wandering in and out. She's going to see Jamie and Charlotte in the gallery. She was under here with Craig before and you didn't know. So I will pick her up and you can meet her before the end of the show. There she goes, following Tracy for a biscuit. Sorry.
No, you know, and I know everyone will be, you know, sad to hear your news, Leanne.
She was poorly, so it was good for her.
Yeah. But we thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
for coming in today and going over. It's your knowledge, it's your baby's Academy of Colour.
Yeah.
So let's dive in. So this is where it all started.
This is where it all started. So when you get your first Academy of Colour home, you see on the box here it says your journey starts here. And then every box thereafter tells you your journey is continuing. When you open this up, it really is like the most exquisite gift, Craig, because you've got all of those markers in there. You can see your alcohol markers are all lined up. That entire layer is dual colour alcohol marker. So you've got 16 pens in there, which is 32 colours. And then we take that whole layer off. So that layer comes off, and underneath there, we've got our aqua marker, which you can see, and you've got 8 different aqua markers in there, which gives you your 16 colours. And then you've got your white acrylic paint marker for all of your highlighting, which we'll have a look at today as well. You've got your spritzer for techniques, and then you've got the 2 brushes that you've just seen me using for all of your techniques. So that's all included in there for you. We take that layer off. And then underneath here, you've got, which is loaded in the folder I'll show you, you've got a panel, 2 panels in fact, to store your stamps, and then 3 sets of acrylic stamps. They're in the binder, I'll show you them in a second. You've then got your watercolour and your alcohol card, and you've also got that paint palette that you've just seen me using. They all come in the bottom of the box, and everything else stacks up on top.
Just to point out as well, when it comes to alcohol colouring, if you watch my Facebook Lives from home or that, this is the pen that I refer to, you know, if you want to do that little highlight. So if you've ever wondered, what was it Craig was on about? That
It's
one
that
there.
one. It's a brilliant marker.
And it's held nicely. It's got that little lip underneath, so it all holds
everything
together.
clicks in place, so it doesn't rattle or fall off. You can see there as I push it, it all nests beautifully and then closes up.
But that's not it.
Not at all. You get this fantastic binder, which is a lovely faux leather and padded, so it really does feel like quality. And then I just point out here, you see this little lip in here, we've got that little window, which is where you've got the sign here for Academy of Colour. I was very keen to have that included, Craig, because what I want you to do, I want you to change this picture regularly, and with each new piece of artwork you do that you're really proud of, I want you to cut it out and put it in that window so you can remind yourself.
What a lovely, good idea.
What you've done, and it reminds you of your journey, and so many of you are doing that. Anyway, you've then also got your index card, so it tells you the dual colour introduction, which is this main box we're showing you now, portraits, which we've sold to you previously, flora and fauna we're looking at today, then we'll have feathers and fur, then we'll have cute characters, then we'll have our aqua pencils, and then we'll have our wax pencils. So you can see the journey that you're going to go on, and that index card is included.
So is that a little tease as well then to future?
Yes, you know exactly what you're getting. You know exactly what you're getting and what you're going to be doing. So that's already in there. Then you've got your divider for the first set of stamps that you get, and that's the ones you get in this box that we're talking about now. So you get this sheet here, which is for all of your basic techniques and shading for alcohol and watercolour, and we'll use all of those. Then you also get this sheet here, which is all of your dresses and folds and hair and skin, your initial education. And then the third set that you get is for your watercolour techniques, and that is here with your florals and your resists and your self-stamping. So all of those things are used for the watercolour technique.
I see,
and you get all of them in that box, Craig. So you get this for watercolour technique, this for alcohol technique, and this for alcohol and watercolour basic teaching.
Brilliant.
And we use all 3 of those. You then get all of the index cards that you need. Thanks, Craig. Let's move them out of the way. There we go. You get all of the index cards you need for each of the new auto ships or each of the new boxes as we sell you to them. So one for portraits, one for Flora and Fauna, one for feathers and fur. And that's so you can put your stamps behind there so they're all organised. You also get 7 of these little project wallets, and these are so you can keep your work in progress organised, all the little pieces that you've just seen me doing, the little notes you do for yourself, anything where you need to remember what you're doing or you want to keep it organised. It's got that lovely ziplock at the top, it's punched so it stays in your binder. I take them out and I put one behind each index card.
That's a good idea.
And then I keep all of my practice pieces and my journey lovely and organised in with my stamps.
Don't discard anything. Don't discard anything.
Keep it, because you can see what you do 1 month, when you come back 4 weeks later when you've been practising, you'll be able to see the journey you've been on. And it's great. Put the little date in the corner of when you did it so you can remind yourself and you can see how much you've learned and how far you've come.
That's right.
So you get all of this with that main box there, Craig, and I think you will agree it's a phenomenal amount, isn't it?
It really is.
Of course, you get 3 hours of education as well.
Exactly, yeah. All of that, you know, the way that it's combined in that, as you were saying, it's so exquisite when it comes to the colours. And it's all very well, you know, showing us actually what you get inside of the box, but as Leanne done earlier on, we're going to do it now. This is the best way to see it all,
It really
isn't it?
is, yes, because you can see it all in the box, and it's nice to see how it's packed and how special and expensive and gorgeous it feels when you get it, but this is what you're actually going to be getting. So they're all of the alcohol marker colours that you get in the box. They're all of the watercolours that you get in the box. You can see these are the markers here. You then get, of course, your aqua markers as well. You've got your white acrylic marker, your spritzer and your 2 paint brushes. These are your watercolour stamps. You can see them better when they're mounted.
Aren't they? Absolutely chocker.
Every bit of space is being used, yeah, absolutely. And then this is your practice. So this is where we learn all of our beginner techniques for alcohol and watercolour. And then these are our alcohol stamps. This is the palette. So you get your palette, the one you've just seen me using. Then you get your watercolour card. And you get your marker card. All of that, plus the binder with all of the dividers and all of the project pockets inside. That all comes to you for that ridiculous price, Craig.
And I'm going to go over the details. I want to kind of just reiterate something I said earlier on. If I take these two, Leanne, you know, now I know obviously that the pens will last you a while, but let's just say these, your cardstock, your watercolour and your alcohol cardstock, they're your consumables. Everything else, you know, again, I say mine is a pen, but everything else, you look after it, it's going to last you a lifetime. The pens themselves will last you such a long time. Take advantage of our double points. You know, take advantage of while we're coming to the end of our 3rd anniversary. Get yourself some more watercolour cards, some more Nina cardstock, just as a top up, so you've got it there. But everything else there, look after it. You're going to be able to use it year after year after year.
Absolutely, completely agree. And then just very quickly, Craig, here's some boards to show you some of the things that you're going to be able to achieve yourself, some of the things that I will teach you to do with those stamps, where you can see the movement in the dresses there. You can see the ombres between colours on the butterfly and the fairy wings. You can see that beautiful portraiture and that hair, the lovely dimension in the floral. And then the same in watercolour. So in alcohol and then in watercolour looks very, very different.
It does, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely. So you can see there lovely flowers coloured in alcohol. We're going to look at how to get them to feel very natural. But then we've got all of the techniques as well with our watercolour. And we've got the same with the practice pieces. Here is what I mean about the practice stamps. So you can see how each of those cylinders look different because of where the light is shining. And we will do all of that in the education.
The confidence, that alone, that will give you to start with. You know, please don't think they are simplistic shapes. Speaking for myself, the confidence that I would get from that alone, that's going to go, right, I want to learn more.
Absolutely. It's jam-packed, and it's 3 hours of, it's actually 3 hours and a bit more because I just couldn't shut up. And most of them, they should be 3 hours and 2 hours. They're always more. Because I keep just going, keep going and going and going.
There we go, everything that we've just gone over there, including that education, you know, $96.61, or of course $126.26. But if you are platinum, that's going to come down to $77.29 or $101.01. Now, within this one there, that's giving you your platinum price, of course, but don't forget you will be able to get your free gift on that one over the £10, $10. So just as well, that just instantly gets popped into your order. You don't need to do anything. We do have another one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to crouch down, Leanne, because we've also on the show as well, we've got the portraits.
That was very elegantly done.
I was trying to do it.
Honestly,
I was trying to. I didn't think it would look really good if I just went.
Yeah, I mean, I would have just gone and got it, but you know, thanks, Craig. That was very elegantly done.
The portrait one. So this is now the first box after you've got that initial, you know, your stamps, your pens to start with. But you still get stamps and pens when it comes to this one.
Oh, absolutely. Every single box will have a unique set of pens and a unique set of stamps. And what we do is focus on something that you find difficult or something that we want to teach you in terms of technique. So having this box which completely and utterly only focuses on portrait is fantastic. And by portrait we mean colouring hair and skin.
Gotcha.
And it's so important for you all because always, whenever I'm asked a question, whether I'm out and about travelling round, whether I'm doing classes, whether we're on air, whether you're sending me an email or a message on Facebook, the single thing that I hear the most about colouring is I find skin and hair so difficult.
Yes, I would agree.
And I can understand that. And then the second thing that I hear is I don't see anybody colouring lots of ethnicities of skin, and I want to see somebody who looks like me. And I think that's also very valid. So what we do in this box is give you all of the techniques to be able to colour beautiful skin and hair, and then we give you all of the combinations to be able to do multitude ethnicities with the markers that you've got. So you can colour somebody who looks like you or looks like the person you want to send it to, which I think is very important,
Very important, it really is.
So the first layer will have your alcohol markers and your watercolour markers for you. So you get 6 new alcohol, 12 colours, 3 new aqua, 6 colours. You then take that layer out, and inside you've got all of the lovely stamps. You've got the panel to stick your stamps on, and then underneath you've got your watercolour and alcohol marker card in there. So that's everything that comes in that portrait box. Now, if I show you quickly what we've got here, so you can see those things.
That way.
Yes. You can see we've got the stamps mounted, and then we've got the actual markers. Now I have got some other boards somewhere which I will try and find and put on my Facebook page for you, which shows you all of the different ethnicities, and I don't know whether we've got them all here, but we have got them somewhere. You've got your alcohol card and your watercolour card. We've got an example here though, look, so you can see that we've coloured these with our alcohol markers, and we've got different colours of hair, different skin tones covered there. They're just really 2 or 3 different skin tones. When you get access to this box and you get that education, Craig, on the Academy of Colour website, I think there's something like 10 different pen combinations for 10 different skin tones.
Right, okay.
And for more hair as well. There's a myriad on there, and all of those combinations are included for you. I'm sure those people who've got access to that will confirm that in the comments for you. And you can see here where we've got it done in alcohol and watercolour, so you can achieve different looks and feels. What I would like you to understand is, for example, this little lady in the middle here, we do her with a very fair skin tone and red hair, a little bit like Annie.
Okay, right.
And then we do it with a blonde skin tone and a more Scandinavian skin tone. We've also got her here if you've got Afro-Caribbean as well. We've got probably 10 or 15 others.
Wow.
And it really is great to be able to colour any one of these images with any one of those hair colours or skin tones, and all of that is covered in that class for you. And I actually show you how to layer the skin tone when it's darker, how to get the shade and how to get the natural blush in there in the education session, which so many of you said has been absolutely invaluable. So it's really just a journey like the other boxes, Craig, but you've got everything there completely focused on portraiture, which I think is wonderful.
With you at the side there for you, helping hard that educational side of it. If you want to go for that one, so this one here, you're going to get 41 elements. You are $33.99 or $44.95. Platinum's going to come down to $27.19 or $35.96. Cross on our website, crafterscompanion.co.uk.com.eu is where you need to go, and of course it's over £10 or $10, so you're going to get your free stock. You're going to get your free gift while stocks last. That was it. See, I'm just getting some more just the other way around.
It's fine. We all know what you mean.
That's the thing. Many do.
We all know what you mean.
But yeah, so that was the first box that came after that initial Academy of Colour. We are, of course, focusing on our launch today, which is the Academy of Colour. We're going to see these ones just coming up in a moment with Leanne. But I tell you what, I'm going to go over Tiffany's rotating board.
Oh,
do you want to go and get yourself
I'll go get myself
sorted?
ready. Thanks, Craig. I'll
there
do
you
that.
Go.
Okay, see you in a
Let's do
minute.
that one, because what you may find, if you haven't already seen it before, and again, I'm just very elegantly just going to crouch down there. I'm going to do slid under the base. Here we go. We have got our rotating board. Now, with this one here, straight away, whether it is my Facebook or, of course, my Insta stories, you will see when I've been colouring away, whether it's on the couch at home, whether it's been in the garden when I had a little bit of time off, I've been using my rotating board. So what you're going to be getting is your rotating design board with accessories collection, $27.98 or $31.98. Your platinum is going to be $22.38 or $25.58. This, for me, helps me so much when it comes to colouring in different ways and positions. And what I mean by that is, whether I'm sitting at my craft desk, whether I am sitting colouring on the settee, I've shared photos where my knees are crouched up against me, but I've got the rotating board sitting on top. And you don't need to worry about, you know, turning your card all the way around every time. You let the board do the work. So what we've got in here, this is the actual rotating board. Get the clip as well, so that's going to clip your work. So whether you're doing your alcohol colouring or a little bit of watercolouring, what you're going to do is simply clip it on and the board rotates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it from the base here and it actually rotates. So instead of moving your cardstock around and around and moving your wrists and getting it at a different angle and getting your wrist quite sore, because it does happen, you have got that ease of flow when it comes to the rotating board. So as I say, whether you are just having it flat on the desk, it works an absolute treat as well. You've got it flat and you can turn it in the direction that suits you and it suits your position, your wrist position. But of course, you can then do it whether you're sitting on the couch, as I say, have my legs and my knees up quite far against me, but I have my board sitting and I can rotate it. I done it in the garden as well. Many uses when it comes to your colouring, but that's not it. You're getting this as well, Jamie, is it? So the bag as well. So you are getting Nancy. You're getting Nancy as well. So it's totally Tiffany. It's strong, even around the edging with the stitching. I know if I go to the side slightly, there we go. The stitching all the way around. The handles, you've even got your little pocket at the front here. You've even got your pocket on the front as well. It is going to hold your rotating design board, but of course it's going to hold your 9x8 or your A4 cardstock as well. You've got that really strong, sturdy base that you would know and expect as well. So you're going to be getting your rotating board and you're going to be getting, of course, your Nancy. That $27.98 or $31.98. Platinum, $22.38 or $25.58. It's one to think and, you know, maybe think upon whether it's one you want to pop into your basket as well, maybe give you a little bit of a helping hand when it comes to your Academy of Colour. That's something that you can have a look at and think as well at your heart's content, but really, really good price on that one today. It does, of course, come from the genius of storage when it comes to Totally Tiffany as well. But what this show, Colour Me Happy on this Sunday, is all about our brand new Academy of Colour. This is our Flora and Fauna, where you're going to be getting 45 elements, and it is, of course, $33.99 or $44.95. Look at that saving already. Brand new launch collection of the Academy of Colour. You're saving £14. Is that 89? Or $20.48. Really good saving off the bat. Platinum, $27.19 or $35.96. I think that's enough from me. I know that you're probably all shouting at the screen saying, we want to see Leanne. We want to see what more you can do. So Leanne, it's over to you.
Okay, great. I'm just selecting my pens.
Okay.
So I'm just getting my pens out. So I've got this one. So actually what I'm doing is I'm referring back to my sheet because and these are going to be so helpful for you because I can't always remember every single colour I used on every single image, and I can get a little bit confused. So I'm just looking here thinking, right, which colours do I actually need, because I'm reminding myself. So all I'm doing is picking them out on the boxes that you can see there. I've got them poking out at the end, and I do that so that I know where to put it back, because if I don't, they end up in a pile on my desk. You'll have seen on the education, and then poor Liam has to sort it all out for me after the fact. So I'm trying to be very good and remember which markers I need, and I believe that's it there. So that's the other one. Right, I've got all of my colours out, so we're going to start and do this gorgeous little bee. Now, this is where, for a small image like this, I contradict myself, because what I always say to you usually is start with your lightest colour, then put your dark and blend the colour out. When you've got a small area like this, you can, if you're not very experienced, oversaturate it and not get that differentiation of colour. So you get too much ink in there and it all blurs into one. So this is where I contradict myself and give you a new technique where I say start with your darker colour and use a palette blend to blend that in. So what I've done here is stamp out my little bee with an alcohol proof ink. And the darkest colour I'm going to use is EB6. So I'm going to put my darkest colour on here, which is EB6. And then I've got EB4 on the other side. So that's on my palette. Now what I'll do is take a tiny bit of EB6, and I'm going to do it as if my light is coming from the side, exactly as I've done for this little bee here. Okay, so you can see it's darker on this side, lighter on this side. And I'm going to start by adding a tiny little bit, and I'm not colouring here, and I think this is, I'm just touching the nib. And I think sometimes you get a little bit nervous about the fact that you've got to be doing big sweeping strokes. You don't. I'm just touching the very tip of the nib there to get that colour on. Then I'm going to take my EB4, which is the next colour down, and to get the blend from the dark into this new tone, I'm going to pick up a little bit of that EB6 on the nib of my marker, and then I'm going to just touch that out. Scribble away.
Okay.
And I've got that blend between the two. Not very obvious because I'm going very subtle at the moment, but you'll see as I start to build up. Then I'm going to move on to my tans, and I'm going to take my TN6 and pick up a little bit. Actually, I'm going to put the medium, the EB4 down. There it is there. I'm going to take a little bit of the EB4 onto that tan colour and then mix a blend from the EB4 into that tan, which you can see there, and I'm just tiny touching. Then I'm going to take this next lighter colour and just soften that blend there a little bit, and then I'm going to move into my yellows, which are going to be my GYs, and they're the real golden colours for the bee here. So now I'm going up to the edge of that and I'm just touching it. I can take a little bit of the previous tan colour if I want to accentuate that a little bit, bring it around, so you see tiny little bits, and then this coming round here starts to bring that light to life for that little bee. And then the final one is the CT4 and 1. And so just several markers, as you can see, but all I've done is touch that to the edge of the next one all the way around, and that really does bring that little bit of body to life. Now if you want to get some texture in there, you can take one of your lighter colours, and this is EB1, and just do some little dabs for fur for the little bee, and that will give you some textural difference that you can see there. And then the gold for the lighter yellow, and that makes the little bee look a little bit more furry. So that's how you get that movement in a small area, and it's exactly what we've done here to get that movement. I've used a little bit more of the dark ink, and you'll find this, doesn't matter how many times you do it, each one will look different.
Yes, it will.
And it just really is, you know, how and where you place that colour. It's entirely up to you. To do the black areas, I'm using the darker areas. I'm going to do exactly the same, but I'm going to touch in a little bit of the black. So I'm going dark to light this time, and I'm not pre-preparing the card, which is the different technique to what I would normally teach you when you're doing a much wider a much larger area. But I'm following exactly the same as we did before. And then if I get my other grey, which is here, actually this one, and I can bring that round a little bit and touch this, they all start to blend together and you get the little black side of the bee, and I'm going to bring a little bit more colour around here. And then your blending happens by just dabbing the next colour of marker along the side. The dabbing also gives you that lovely textural feel. Now if you want to put a little bit more of a highlight in there, if you feel you've used a little bit too much of the grey and you want it to be more obvious, what you can do is, in your original box you've got a blender, and with your blender you can just take a little bit of that out in the centre, and what that will do is immediately lighten and give you that shine because the blender deletes. So you've got that lovely shine happening now on the bee. For the wings, very, very easy. I just put a base colour on there for the wings as that. Of course you would do the legs and the rest of the bee. I'm just doing this, and then I just do little flicks of texture to get that colour in. You can choose whatever colour you want the wings to be. I'm not going anatomically correct for this, but you can see you get the dark to the light there, and then I can put a little bit more in at the base with a little flick, and you get that change in colour for the wing as well. You can use any of the colours to do that. So very easy for you to then colour this little bee in that way, simply using that technique and getting that lovely little furry look on his body. And when you've mastered that, you can just stamp several of them onto a card and just have Queen for a day, and you get the little crown stamp in there too as well, and colour them in. And you see what I have done here is, I know you love to do this, Craig, it's a fabulous technique, isn't it, where to make it really pop, the little under...
Yeah, I do it all the time, Leanne. The
little under layer of grey where you just trace around with a light pen, and that really does make a pop from the card. Makes it feel 3D when you do that. I know I've seen you do that lots of times, Craig. So that's very easy to do that with the bee. That's the alcohol coloured bee. So you will get the full instructions on how to do that. As we've talked about, you get all of the step-by-steps and the finished results so that you can colour that in and learn how to get that real 3D little character popping off there. And then to do that in watercolour, Craig, it's a whole different set of skills. Have I got time?
You've got loads of time. Can I just say as well, you think, and I've been watching the clock, what you've just learned from Leanne within 4 minutes, less than 4 minutes, that gives you just a smidge of an idea what you're going to learn over the 3 hours, the 2 hours when it comes to the education. I just want to point that out, Leanne, because even you wouldn't have seen it at home. I'm reading your comments and I'm actually like this at the screen. I'm just absolutely amazed at seeing how you do that educational part of creating that bumblebee. I love it, absolutely love it.
Thank you, Craig. I really appreciate that. It's just a joy, and I think, you know, when we're going through it, I've lost a bit there, that's where it goes. When we're going through it, sometimes you can think that things are a little bit basic to show, but really we go back to the very beginning and everything. We presume that you know nothing and really help you go through that. And the results that you're doing, you're sharing on Facebook yourself after having followed this education. Honestly, I'm blown away, and more often than not, I'm just in that group going, fantastic, amazing, awesome work, good job, wow is a word that I'm using constantly, because you're all achieving such beautiful work and sharing it. It's just incredible, Craig. Right, what we're going to have a look at now is how to create a beautiful stamped watercolour background and a watercoloured bee. So we're going to have a look at both of those things. Okay, so I'm just going to get my markers out, Craig. So I need golden marigold. Just need to find that. Where have I got that golden marigold?
This is when you're seeing from what Leanne's using how so many have maybe to start with opted with the portraits, or maybe going in with the flora and fauna, but have had to go back. You've seen that initial education that you're getting. Let's say you went for the portraits and you've seen the education that you're getting. It's like, I need to go back, I need to get that main box, that main collection. It's the box, of course it is, with a folder as well, and that's starting you off on that educational journey with Leanne. So I'm not surprised that so many have done that, Leanne.
Okay, So I've got all of my markers out now. So I've got a little piece of watercolour card here, and then I've got my markers out. And we're going to be using all of these golds and browns. So I'll just turn them round so you can see them. I'm definitely going to have got these in the wrong box, so we're going to have to check against the boxes when we pack things up, because I've got all the markers out on the thing and I know I've got them in the wrong place. Oh dear. Right, so first things first, we're going to start at one side of the bee, and we're going to start with the lighter colours and transition over to the darker colours from one side to the other. So the first thing I do with that when I'm doing that is just organise the ends of my pens. So I'm going lighter to darker, and I can see that is the way I'm going to go. So you can see I've got the lightest colour going all the way through to the darkest. And I find by doing that, I don't get myself confused. So, and actually this marker is going to get used twice down here. But we'll talk about that in a second. So first things first, lightest colour, and then all you're doing is stroking that onto the stamp. So I'm stroking a little bit of colour on there, and then moving to the next lightest colour. So that will come in that order. And then I'm going with a gold. So that's going to get stroked on beside. And then we're going with this colour here. And you know, I'm not telling you the colours here because actually it will still look lovely regardless of what colour you choose.
Yeah, well, won't it?
So you can pick your favourite browns, tawnies, greys, you know, whatever it is you want. It will become your own unique creation. You don't have to follow the colours I'm using. I do, in the education online, tell you all of the colours in detail and include them in the step-by-steps. But I'm just conscious of doing this pretty quickly for you so you can see how it all comes together.
Everyone know what to expect from the education, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I agree. So once you've got all those colours on, you're going to huff, and I'm sure we all know what a huff is now. So that's just breathing on the stamp to make sure it's moist. So, and then stamp. And you get those lovely colours.
Wow.
And you can do several of those, and you'll get different intensity every time you go. On the one that I've done here, I reapplied the ink every time to get that real intense look. I'm not going to do that for speed. So this is the one that you'll see when you reapply the first part of ink. You would do that several times on the sheet. But for speed, because there's lots I want to show you, I'm not going to do that. Once you've done that, you then just spritz. So you take your spritzer, comes in the first box, just filled with plain water, and then just point that at your stamp and spritz. And you'll see those colours move, and you keep the outline of the bee, but then it softens it, and you get that lovely painterly look and feel. And do it with these couple that I've done here, and this one, and you get a more subtle background, equally as lovely. It just depends on what you want to achieve. To get the ink off your stamp, because there'll be another application here, you can take your spritzer, just give that a light mist, and then stamp direct to your background, and you'll get some subtle colour there if you want to. But just to be clear, what I did when I did this main background, just cleaning that off because I'm going to need to use it in a minute. When I did this main background was I went back and reapplied my ink. So I had this effect, and then spritzed and then dried with a heat gun. I can't find my heat gun. If you leave it wet, it will continue to move. So when you see it as you want it to be, get your heat gun on it, and that'll stop it moving, and you get that beautiful background. Very, very simple to do, Craig.
It really, really is, isn't it? The key thing as well, while Leanne was doing that, what I was thinking as well, you know, it's called Academy of Colour. So yes, Leanne's going to be teaching you, you know, the skins, skin tones, you know, the hair, the foliage, that sort of thing. But did you ever think that you could actually blend a bit of colour when it comes to your alcohol pens? Leanne done that in that last demo. Did you think that you could actually colour your stamps when it comes to the watercolour pens? Leanne's just done it then. So it's that academy of colour, of techniques, yes, in education when it comes to colouring, but that technique basis as well of different things that you can do. That's another reason why so many people have just found this so helpful, so enjoyable, and the fact that many people are sending in so many comments. We're going to have a look. There is some questions coming through, so we'll go back to Leanne for another demo, and then we'll try and get these couple of questions coming in. Quite a few people saying, great huff, Leanne.
Oh, Well, I mean, honestly, I've been told that I'm full of hot air several times in my life. And I just thought, you know, let's find a career where all that hot air can come in useful. And huffing is one of the things that makes all of my hot air very, very useful, Craig.
Perfect. Excellent. Before we go, just giving Leanne another couple of minutes as well, just to get ourselves sorted. We have got a weekend Super Saver. Now these ones here, this is actually working out at buy one, get one free. So this is your craft kit. So we are giving you our interchangeable scene die craft kit and also our pop-out character collection craft kit. Now in total you're getting over 410 elements. So $24.99 or $24.99. Platinum comes down to $19.99, whether it's pound or whether it's dollars. Many years thinking, well, that's usually the price for one of them. You're right, as I said, works out as a buy one, get one free. You're getting them both for that price today. Now, this one here is a craft kit included. So all you need is your die cutting machine, and you have got the dies, you've got the stamps, you've got the background papers, you've got your coloured cardstocks, you've got dewdrops and that in these ones as well. You've got everything to create a card. These are themes that you will then be able to take from our main collections that we do at Crafters Companion on Crafters TV, and then you're getting them in a box here. Every one is completely different from what you will find in our bigger collection. So for instance, within this one here, interchangeable scene dies, you may be familiar with our big collection that we do at Crafters Companion. These are completely different. So they are different scenes. These are a nice little set as a little starter for yourself, as a gift to give to someone, but all beautifully packaged, held together with a little welcome note from Sarah inside. And many of you will know by now, if you are purchasing these for the first time, these are from our interchangeable. Every single month when we have a new one out, I do a couple of demos. Now the addresses for your Facebook, it is your box page, they are inside the box as well for you to then pop across when it comes to the tuitions for each one. A couple of all occasion, a couple of Christmas themed as well when it comes to your craft kit. But the main thing is to say as well, it is a craft kit. So other than your die cutting machine, you've got everything combined together. The colours are thought together, the styles are thought together, everything just works beautifully. And whether it is, of course, your scenes or maybe your pop-out. So you've got your little rabbit, you've also got a bear here. Key thing that I didn't point out a minute ago is you've got the card blanks and envelopes as well. So everything is together. So maybe you are going to treat yourself, maybe you are going to give that for a loved one, maybe you're keeping one, you're going to be gifting the other one. That's entirely up to yourself. But these are $24.99, $24.99 each. But today with our weekend saver, you're getting them both for that same price. Buy one, get one free. Cross on our website as well. Lots of lovely goodies for you to take advantage of. Have a look on our website. But while you do that, because many of you are watching on the big screen and you've also got your tablet or your phone to hand, we can jump straight back to Leanne, who's going to dive straight in to a brand new Academy of Colour.
So I thought we'd have a look, Craig, at how to watercolour the little bee if you want to get a watercolour bee for the front of the card. Example here, where we've got the background and then we've got that lovely little watercolour bee as a focal point as well. So a couple of different ways you can do that, Craig. You can just watercolour them as an image. And so what I've done is just put the colours that I use to stamp the background onto my palette here. And I'm going to use that to just pick up from there and create this lovely little fluffy bee. So let's take that one step at a time. I'm conscious of the time and there's one more demo I want to really get in. So I'm going to do this pretty quickly for you. So I just pick up the colour and dab that straight in. Clean your brush each time as you go and then pick up your next colour and dab that in as you go. Just get a map of where you would like the colour to be.
Right.
Don't worry about it being too intense to start with. So I've kind of got that as my map. Now I can go in and pick up my shade and intensity and drop that in to get that real mixing of new colours where it starts to blend together and give you that really lovely, fluffy look and feel.
You really do, don't you?
Yeah, you do. And I do that in detail on the education. So that's how you would do that. Another way of doing it is the quick cheats way, if you like. I love this actually. This is probably my favourite way of doing one of these techniques.
Okay.
It is to take my markers and paint again onto the stamp, just in various different places, in different colours. So I'm using in strips down, so I've got the gold and the brown there. Just going to clean that off so that I don't contaminate my marker.
Coloured over the brown as well,
yes,
or not? Okay.
Yes, mixed a new colour. Then I've got the darker just for the legs, so I can see where the tips of his legs are there. Now I'm going to pick up the wings. Let's pick up with this colour here. Okay, so just pick up the wings, and I would have more time to plan this out in real life because there's another thing I want to show you before we go. So I'm going to do this quickly and then get that one ready for you, just as a whistle stop. Once you've done that, you're going to huff again and get that stamped down as your topper, so you can see that there. And then all you're going to do is dab. So I've got my pot of water, put my brush in the water, take off most of the dampness, so I'm just touching it to the card so it's not saturated to the paper, so my brush is not saturated. And then what you do is go to the line that you've just stamped and dab. And what that does is mix the colours that you've got there. Now if you feel you need to warm that up, you can pick a little bit up from your palette and dab with that. And then what you've got there is the stamped line and the shade all in one go. And it colours the whole thing in for you without having to stamp it and without having to have all of your colours in the correct place, because all I'm doing is pouncing my brush on top. And as we said right at the beginning, Craig, anybody can pounce a damp brush. And the joy of watercolour is it's meant to look painterly. It's not meant to look perfect. You see, all I'm doing is warming it up down that side, using from my palette a colour there that I've mixed. And then if I wanted to accentuate those lines a little bit, there's a little bit of the black. I can just accentuate those lines. If I want to put a tiny bit more shade in down here for the parts of his body which would be darker, I pick up that darker colour and I pounce that in. And then what I've got is a very realistic looking little bee in seconds, Craig. And that would then get mounted on top of the background that you have just stamped.
That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. I had my mouth open the whole time Leann was doing that. Isn't that a couple of different now techniques that you've got as well under that Academy of Colour? Adore, adore, adore what Leann's just done there. You can be doing that, remember, you know, for the price today, $33.99 or $44.95. You are getting that education as well. So take that snippet of what Leann's been teaching you throughout Colour Me Happy and then go into that education where you've got Leann there every step of the way. And if you are purchasing it today from Crafters TV, the videos are already going to be there. Education is there for you to jump straight into. So as I said, we've actually got a few in-depth questions coming through. So probably what we'll do is if you come back later on into our Second Chance Sunday. We've actually got 2 Second Chance Sundays today, mine and Leann's. So what we're going to do, because I want to make sure Leann gets as much demo time in as possible and for you to learn as much as you can within Colour Me Happy. If we don't get the questions in by the end of this show, I promise you I'll ask Leann at the start of Second Chance Sunday, just so that we can get everything in that Leann wants to show you. But as I said there, $33.99 or $44.95. That's our brand new Academy of Colour Flora and Fauna. This is with your 45 elements, and this is now taking you on that next part of the journey with Leann when it comes to that educational learning techniques of what you can be doing with, yes, Flora and Fauna, but then bringing in your previous boxes as well. Right, that's it. Leann, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Craig. Right, so what I've done here is use all of the stamps that are in the box, and I've simply taken our waterproof, sorry, just dodged off there to get it, our waterproof ink pad, and I have randomly stamped them over the top of each other. I've used the background postcard, I've used the flowers that I coloured in at the beginning, I've used the bee, you can see there's a little crown in there. So all of the stamps that come in the collection with a finesse waterproof, or with your stays on if you've got it at home, with a waterproof dye ink, stamp, overlay, and don't worry about it looking a mess.
Okay.
Just go for it, and it looks like a collage. So that's what I've done there to get that ready, and I'll cut to this immediate one so that I don't bore you.
You could never bore us,
I
that's
don't
for sure.
bore you with stamping that because I know we're going to be short of time. Now I'm just trying to get all of my markers, and I'm not going to worry about having the right colours. I'm just going to go for it. Okay. So first things first, prime your card. So this is watercolour card, a piece of watercolour card from the box, randomly stamped with the stamps from the box with waterproof. There's my little palette. So this time I wanted to show you the big brush, how that comes into its own that you get as well. So you're going to use your big background brush that comes in the original box, and we're going to prime our watercolour card. So I'm just putting water all over the back there. So that's water everywhere on there, and you can see that the ink's not moving because we've used the waterproof. Okay, so that's now primed and ready. You would need your heat gun at home. Can't find mine, never mind. Then I'm going to scribble on here some of these lovely colours I've got, oranges and golds. And I'm going to pick these colours up from the palette. So I'm going to take this colour here, and then we're going to brush it on to this prepared background. You can get a little bit of water, and it'll take the colour beautifully when you have, when you have pre-prepared the background. And if you want to intensify it a little bit more on your palette, pick it up on your brush. You see how you can intensify the colour going over. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to do it in a light wash because it's quite a bit to show you. And Jamie is telling me in a running down, you've got 6 minutes, you've got 5 minutes, Leanne. I'm like, Jamie, you haven't worked with me before. We've got as many minutes as I need to be able to show everybody this demonstration. Okay, so we're going to blend all of these in, and we do this techniques I've just shown you to colour the bee, and I would pick out a bee on there and a floral on there, and I would paint them separately. So that's the background with 2 or 3 layers of colour, so it's intensified it more. I've then done some faux bleaching with some water, which I show you on the education, and then I've picked out and coloured a couple of things, which gives you that fantastic background you can see there. We then cover off masking, Craig, which is absolutely incredible.
One of my favourite techniques is masking.
Oh my word, it's so amazing, isn't it? So we're going to use the postcard just very quickly. So I just want to show you this finished project because you are absolutely going to love it. When you know that I give you the detailed step-by-step tuition on how to do this in that education session, you're going to be thrilled. So I've got that ready there. I've then got my finesse waterproof. So I stamp one of these and then cut it out. Now I stamp it and cut it out on our brand new masking tape, which will be on the website for you if it's in stock. So stamp one of those like that and cut it out on the masking tape. Okay? So once you've done that, you will have a mask. Okay, so you just cut the little postcard out. Then what you do, because that masking tape is sticky, is you cut it out, and I've used this a couple of times, you can see. You put that directly over the top, then do the inking and stamping again. And this is done in a real-time project in that education with this Flora and Fauna session. It's not rushed like I'm showing you here. I take my time with it, and you absolutely love it. You then decide where you want that to be. So I'm going to have it there, and stamp over the top of your mask and over the top of your image. When you've done that, and when you remove your mask, it gives you a layered postcard look and feel, which is absolutely fantastic, isn't it? You then cut that out and do exactly the same technique that I've just shown you for your background by painting onto wet card the colours and make it more intense where it's overlaid to get the shadow. Curl the edges, and then when you put that together and pop a sentiment on it, that's what you're creating. And we do that in real time in the education session. I've done that in probably 3 minutes. Far too fast. We spend a good half an hour on it, I think, in the education, a long time, which allows you to have that. And this card is the single most repeated project I've seen in our Facebook group because you all absolutely love it.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. And I know Leanne's just said it, but just to reiterate what Leanne's just said there, you can do that project in real time when it comes to the Academy of Colour. That's what it's all about. Education, education, education with Leanne. Well, as we can see, I'm on this side, which is my turn to pick a winner. So we have got, actually, let's go. I was able to have a little think just beforehand what we're going to do, and I'm also going to give away the voucher, simply because I think many of you will either want to start this journey with Academy of Colour, or you want to continue with it, either with our Fauna and Fauna, or your portrait. That's going to be up to you. You might want to go for something different. Again, that's entirely up to you, but I want that control to go into your hands. So I'm going to give away the £30, $30 voucher, and we're going to give it away to Amanda Bennett. Congratulations, Amanda. You are going to get that voucher. So what I need you to do is email prizes@crafterscompanion.com. Pop your name. I know it's a voucher, so it'll probably be emailed to you. Pop your address in. It's just habit that I say that. And just say that you won the, that you won the voucher on Colour Me Happy. It was my choice. So if you want to be in with the chance winning these free gifts, remember as well, everyone, so Anne and now Amanda, both of you, you'll also go into that online craft along with myself. You'll get all the details in, well, not too long, as to how you can then interact with myself, and we can decide upon what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and what we're going to use. If you want to still be in with that chance, you just need to come back later on today. Come back later on today. Myself and Leanne are going to be choosing a few more gifts that we're going to be sending out, and have a look on the website. You might find some things that's going to complement the gift. It's maybe going to be our Academy of Colour. It's maybe going to be some additional items that you want to stock up with, because you are going to get double points on all these items, especially on the website. Everything with an orange dot, which is pretty much most of the things on our website, you are going to be able to get your double points on that. So maybe you actually want to stock up on some watercolour card or Nina card stock, so you can continue that learning, that education with Leanne, and you can pop them into your basket, of course. Maybe it's going to be the masking. Maybe you want to get that masking roll, then you can, of course, then pop that into your basket as well. It's entirely up to yourself. But the key thing is that Academy of Colour is all about, yes, the tools that are within that box in that Academy of Colour, but it's the education. We've already seen not only is it colouring when it comes to the skin tone or the hair or the floral or the foliage, but techniques when it comes to the backgrounds, of course, whether it is your stamping, whether you are going to be doing some blending with your alcohol colours, you're stamping with the watercolour pens. But I think we've also got a very special guest in the building today. Leanne touched upon her. So actually, Leanne, I'm going to come back to you.
From me and Minnie. This is Minnie the Moo, and she's my little companion at home when we colour. Look, Minnie, down here. Look down there. Say hi to everybody. Craig's waving. This is little Minnie. She's our crafty dog today, so thought it would be nice for her to pop in and say hello to you, because I know a lot of you a lot of the time say, we never see your dogs, what do they look like, Leanne? She's actually come to work with me today, and she's been keeping Tracy company. So from me and Minnie, get your Flora and Fauna, and you'll have a fab time with it.
Absolutely will do it as well. Right, that's not it for today. We've got 2 cracking Second Chance Sunday shows coming up. The next one is going to be Leanne's picks, and then the next one is going to be my pick, of course. Thank you for all your comments. So much love for you, Leanne, and what you've been showing today on Colour Me Happy. Not forgotten about the questions. We will answer them when we come back for Second Chance Sunday with Leanne's pick. So that's going to be coming up next. Go and grab yourself a cup of tea, get some lunch, get some breakfast, and we will see you back just very shortly here on Crafters TV. Bye.